teach you what you need to know. It's when you're already too old to be in the field, that's when college kicks in, right? Because that's when already now you have the maturity to see the wisdom that comes with the stuff that you got forced to learn in the very beginning. And college always yields this discipline of regrettably having to do what you don't want to do. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, college, I'm going to learn so much, No, it's kind of like, college is like going to the military. You know, you're going to get indoctrinated in knowing what you can and you can't do. You're going to come face to face with those areas in your life where you're like, wow, I'm not sure about this weakness, you know? But now you got to face the weakness. And I think curiosity sometimes is what really becomes the fuel to get past that weakness, right? And into actually winning. You know, there's times when we're like, oh man, this client really kind of sucks, you know? But you think about the job, and yes, you get more excited about the job than you actually do about the client. But your curiosity is what makes you kind of make those wheels spin to kind of be able to navigate through that. You know, I know a lot of time and effort is spent on selling passion as being that fuel. You know, and I have found passion to be this fickle friend, you know, that when you feel like being passionate, it works, right? You're like, yeah, all right, you know, I'm emotional, you know. But when you don't feel like being kind of passionate, passion kind of like walks out the door and you're like, oh, life sucks again, you know. Okay, curiosity is not that, okay? Curiosity is a tool that you can use to actually power through those things that, man, are just difficult in your life, you know? And again, whether it's, I'm not making enough, the client is being a dweeb, you know, it's like, where am I going to get more clients, or how's this thing going to happen? Should I go? Should I not? You know, curiosity is about knowledge. It's about learning. It's about continually being better at who you are already. For example, a lot of when the computer whole thing, the Mac thing was starting to come out on the scene, I was ending up college, and I remember seeing the first Mac SE, and the guy from Business Land comes, and he plops this thing, and he's like, look, you can do type. And I'm looking at that, I go like, that type sucks, bro. I was like, you expect me to do type on that? You know? And I remember being one of those critics at a very young age. I'm talking college. I'm looking at that computer going, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, it's like I'll go back here and I'll kind of like spec out all my type and send it to a typesetter and have her bring back the sheets, and I'm going to paste it down, and it was crazy, you know. And now I think about it, it's like, oh, thank God we don't have to do that anymore. You know, it's like, wow, what was I thinking? You know, and yet as time progresses, and I am able to look back over 33 years of being in the business, and I consider my friends that still feel that same way about the computer, I think they're the ones that are losing out. Why? Because one, their success in the way it used to be done now became their kind of ball and chain. Hey, I'm good enough, you know, look where I've gotten. So their success now has held them back. It could be, I don't need that, I'm good where I'm at. Really, you know, years pass, and they pass fast, right? So where you're at today does not necessarily indicate anything about what's going on a year from now. And that works both ways, whether you're a successful guy to go backwards, or whether you're somebody that's, man, down and out right now, that next year is not going to be totally different than what you're seeing today. But the thing is, are you curious enough to power through those things? Now, again, these friends of mine, I think where they kind of met the bump and where I kind of took another road was curiosity. I was curious. I was curious about my own industry and the love for graphic design. I mean, my wife, you know, poor Laura, my wife here at the end, she has to suffer taking me to, like, even Publix, you know? Because, like, I will literally stand in front of the aisle and check out, like, all the labels. Like, wow, hey, we're only here for the, yeah, I'll be right there. You know, and I have to look at all the beer labels, and it's like, wow, this is all great. You know, and I have to examine it. Why? To me, that's a school right there waiting to happen. You know, you can go to the frozen food aisle, and it's like, wow, this is great. Look at all these boxes. You know, somebody had to do this stuff. You know, But those are the kind of things that curiosity continues to move you forward in like, wow, this is changing. I cannot sit still. Now, in freelancing all this time, there was a moment in my life, and it was not too long ago, that, I decided, I was helping a friend out as a freelancer, and he had a studio, and because I get called in kind of like a freelance creative director, and it was becoming like a regular thing like 3 years, and it was supposed to be 3 months, and I felt, man, there has to be something more than this. And life took a turn, and I actually started working for a church here in town as a communications director. And the church was like about 90 people when I got there. About 9 years later, we were well over 4,500 people and doing services and all over the city in 5 different locations. And literally, we could have church in here. We can convert this into a church. I mean, but what we did was I had to create those creative teams. Now, mind you, this is volunteer stuff, right? Church doesn't have money to hire a bunch of people, high-paid creatives to come in. But we did it all in-house. We did the video, the music, all the graphics. We did everything in-house. So much so that basically the guys that would do our camera work, because we would do live streaming, those are the guys that you're probably seeing when they have the Miami Heat play on TV. All the switching folks, well, those folks were trained at our church. And that's the quality and the level of expectancy that going into a place that you go like, well, I don't care if it's a church. There's no reason for having, sucky graphics. I mean, there's no excuse for that, So we held the church at the highest standard available too. Now, if you want a hard client, go for a church. But it was awesome experience because that actually opened up the door for Square Hue. And if you haven't heard about what Square Hue is, it's a nail polish subscription company that we started when we did an event at University of Miami, and we had over Charity Water and A21 for human trafficking and all this kind of stuff. And here you meet these people that are actually out on the streets, pulling kids, out of places, of prostitution. And the next day I'm supposed to go back and do a brochure. I'm thinking like, wow, I'm such a loser. I mean, these people are the ones that are making it are changing lives for real. So Square Hue became a way that the team that I was working at could actually give back to that. I mean, we had kids, we had families. We could not stop what we were doing, go drill a well in Zimbabwe, for somebody, for a tribe out there. But we knew who was doing it, and we said, we can get behind those people financially and actually do it. So the idea with Square Hue was, hey, what business can we create kind of that doesn't take any time, no money, that we don't have to do it, that basically everything that they told you in school on how to write, the business plan, okay, forget that. That didn't work. We totally, annihilated that one and decided, well, it's not like, we were into nail polish. It could have been shoelaces. The point was that what we wanted to do was create a business that made money to give money. Simple. Like it was, so this for us, our own time investment into this business had to be one of zero sum. I get in, do it, and I got to step out because now I got to continue with life. I can't hang around with nail polish all the time. And lo and behold, we said, hey, this is kind of cheap to test. Let's go ahead and test it. Well, lo and behold, the first month, the Elvis Duran show in New York kind of picked it up, and I have no idea how. And then they started broadcasting it all over Miami on the radio station. I get a phone call, hey, you're on the radio. And I'm like, what? How can you Square Hue be on the radio? That doesn't even make any sense. You can't see it, So sure enough, there it was, and this girl talking about it. And from there, it just took off, Again, that wasn't the plan, But now our curiosity had to keep fueling it like, oh, man, how do we keep this going? I mean, I thought this was going to be just pick colors and let it go. So that's been an interesting ride for 5 years already. And we have funded A21 and worked with them against the fight against human trafficking. And it has been something that has been personally fulfilling because we know that we are the ones that are doing something about it. Then this church thing, it kind of came to an end, for myself and wanting to go back out and freelance. And what happened was, well, church is kind of 24/7. It's kind of like being a doctor. It's just a hospital for the sick. And when it came time to freelance, I was literally outside the door, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I got no clients. I got no contacts. I got nothing from my past. I mean, this has been 9, 10 years already, so it wasn't anything that I was actually going to pick up and start working. So I had to become more and more curious about freelancing, and what that took. Because all this time, I had spent time curating teams, creative teams for the church, and mind you, these were millennials. And the way that I was brought up in the system to work with design, just the discipline of doing and doing and doing, was constantly on the challenge, and that made me curious about millennials. I was like, what is it about these guys that, work to them, it's not like it doesn't matter, because they know they got to eat, but their attitude towards it was totally different. It's like, hey, dude, I'm here from 9 to 3 or 9 to 5, and I'm going home, so I'm working it right now. They're like, oh, yeah, whatever. We're on Facebook and Twitter, and, yeah, we'll have it tomorrow. And I'm thinking, dude, you've been here all day. It's like, why are you going to do this overnight thing? But you know what? I'd get there the next day, and guess what? It was done. I'm like, okay, so why am I the one that's chewing on my liver because these guys don't seem to be working when they're getting the job done? So apparently, they're not the problem. I am. I'm the one that needs to change my attitude about what work means, because they are literally producing the same kind of work that I'm producing at the same time. They just feel like taking longer, that's all. So yeah, I had to live with that. But that just highlighted so much for myself, and the curiosity about why 9 to 5? Why 9 to 5? Who the heck wrote that in the book? First of all, I'm 5 days a week. I don't know, but we should rewrite it to 4. It's like, who thought of that? It's like, if you cannot be good at what you do for 4 days a week, 8 hours a day, dude, change your job. It's like, what are you doing? You're wasting life, But anyway, these millennials, man, I love them, and I learned so much from them because of the attitude that they brought to the table, And it really started changing my own attitude. Okay. It really started changing the attitude of how I dealt with my own future. All right, go for it, guys. Nothing's happening in here. I get to call them out. So definitely that brought on a curiosity for the future. What was this new freelance life going to be for me? And that's where CoLab Miami kind of came in. I find myself that as I built teams of people, I knew that I was going to, as a freelancer, I'm going to be staring at the wall or my computer all by myself, that I needed to build this community around me that could support the efforts of what I was going to do. I was going to do graphic design. I was not going to code. I know how to do all those things, but no, I was not going to spend time doing those things. I was not going to do video. I was not going to do photography, and I wanted to know who in this city were the hot shots, were the guys that were really making it happen, were the entrepreneurs that were as serious as I was to make things happen. So I figured, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this CoLab Miami thing and open it up to whoever wants to come work with me at Starbucks. I'm just going to throw an invite out there. Hey, I'm working at Starbucks. Whoever wants to come. And lo and behold, total strangers started showing up. Total strangers. Not even my friends showed up. It's like, where are they? I thought they'd support me. No. Not even my friends showed up. So it was like, okay, I guess they don't want to work with me. But total strangers started going, that's where you meet David and stuff coming in. And I guess he felt sorry for me and hung around. And this poor old guy. And that way, I have met some incredible people in this city. A lot of people talk smack about Miami, about, oh man, it's so hot and it sucks and the traffic, da-da-da-da. Well, you don't know its people, clearly. Because the people I hang around with are amazing people, and this city is rocking the house of the United States right now. Because freelancing here, and I don't know if you know this, but freelancing here, we're at the top of the list of entrepreneurial startup businesses compared to everybody else. You're talking New York, San Francisco, Austin, all these different places. Miami's at the top. Okay? And I think that type of spirit is the one that clearly defines and just shows the testament of our own curiosity. Yeah, we all have pains, we all have backgrounds to deal with, we all have things that we bring to the table that make us kind of like force us to move forward. But that curiosity of being a better you, you know, in what you do, is just, it's intense in this city, you know. So when it comes down to, one of the unique things about Collab Miami is that even though we get together to work alongside each other, because to me, I'd rather work with a friend than try to interview a total stranger. You know, to me, it was easier to get to know other people. I would see their work. I knew where to categorize them, where to put them, you know, and that made it a whole lot easier to be able to invite, to be able to speak to be able to get to know people that would lead to tremendous friendships. And they are the friendships that have been forged out of that have been amazing and really appreciative. So kind of to wrap it up here a little bit, as entrepreneurs, you know, there's always going to be the day off, you know, the day that you're just not happening, you know. And again, I encourage you, don't see that day as the bummer day that everybody else wants to make it out to be, you know. See it as an opportunity to fix a problem, you know. In this case, it's your problem now, you know. And curiosity could definitely be that fuel that could change the day, you know. And that timeline, hey, look, don't beat yourself up over it, you know. We are all making this stuff up as we go along, you know. When you start comparing yourself to the guy next door, that's it, you know, because we all think the grass is greener, you know. Yeah, his water bill is more expensive too, you know. And so, you know, in that case, man, you know what? You got a race to run, you know, and you need to find ways of being able to move yourself along and not beat yourself up over, am I creative, am I not, am I doing this right? There's people that you can get help, you know, like here, CreativeMornings, Collab Miami. There's people that you can talk to easily that can help you take that one next step, because we always want to get to the goal, right? But just that one next step that will help you out. So I want to leave you with that. And if anything, again, leaving you with my Publix kind of example, you know, train in curiosity, you know. Kind of put yourself in a position to wonder. Why is that like that? Can it be better? Can I make it better? You know? And then live curiosity, you know. Don't let it slip by you just that something kind of goes like being in this building. Do you think we get to be in here all the time? This building has tremendous history. We should be pretty curious of what was happening here in Miami when this building started here, you know? Those are the things that I believe will impact how you look at entrepreneurship, how you take on those failures, and how you kind of get back up and kind of keep moving forward. So thank you, folks. It was great to talk to you. Are we doing Q&A?